The Ohio State Secretary and his team will have quite a big job of sifting through signatures. A reproductive rights group delivered almost double of what was asked to get abortion rights on the November ballot.
Yeah, that amendment is nicknamed the Abortion Bill of Rights, but also includes the right to contraception, miscarriage care, fertility care, and more.
WCPO 9 News reporter Sean Delancey joins us now with a breakdown of what's next. Sean?
Yeah, Evan and Jasmine, abortion is one of those issues that splits electorates far to one side or the other. And it looks like those sides will square off in November with more than 700,000 signatures clearing one more obstacle to get the issue on the ballot.
You've probably seen a lot of this for months.
Excuse me, I'm collecting signatures.
And it resulted in this. Hundreds of thousands of signatures in support of the Abortion Bill of Rights getting on the ballot in November. Abortion rights advocates celebrated.
An overwhelming majority of Ohioans support this basic human right.
But anti-abortion advocates like Rachel Sitok, president of the Greater Cincinnati Right to Life, called the constitutional amendment radical.
So there may be some in Ohio that are looking for some kind of common sense abortion amendment. This is not it.
Sitok fears the amendment would eliminate a parent's right to know about their child's medical care and greatly limit legislators' ability to regulate abortion.
Unfortunately, this amendment is something that would allow unfettered abortion through all 9 months of pregnancy.
UC political science professor David Niven disagrees. Niven says the amendment, as written, would return Ohio law to something closer to what it was under Roe v. Wade. Abortion's protected up to viability and then up for regulation unless the mother's life is threatened.
What this would do is, take us to a point where the debate is not about outright bans and 6-week bans, which is on the table.
But before voters ever get to a say in abortion rights, there's a hurdle. Ohio lawmakers created Issue 1 to be put to a vote in August. Voting yes would make it harder to amend the state's constitution.
Well, it's important that we fix the Constitution in the state.
State GOP Chair Alex Triantafilou says that the initiative to change the threshold from 50 to 60% is mainly about protecting the Constitution from change on a whim.
Our Constitution is not the place for special interests to just latch on to whatever they want. So we're fixing a long-term problem. It's not only linked to abortion. Of course, we are the party of life and we'll defend that.
But again, Niven pushed back on the notion that abortion isn't front and center in the August vote.
Out of state interest. What the August vote would do would be to limit the power of the majority of Ohioans. And that plays directly into the question of whether reproductive rights will be approved.
Now, Niven pointed to an interesting wrinkle in all of this. If Issue 1 passes in August and then abortion rights pass, it would be much harder for voters to change it back if they ever would like to.
And so you've got two issues here that are separate but so intertwined. What exactly happens next? Like, what do we get the next few months?
Yeah, so in the next couple of weeks, things are going to be pretty simple. Basically, the Secretary of State is going to have to verify all of those signatures. The supporters really need around 415,000 of those to be real. If that's the case, we're going to be voting on this come November.
Sean, thank you so much for breaking all that down for us.